Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, The Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 1, entitled The First Step in God Realization. Text 12. Kim pramattasya bahubhihi parokshairhaya nairiha varam muhurtam viditam ghatate shreyase yataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Shukadev Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king, who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Shukadev Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of the eat, drink and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statements in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Yamala Tantra, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from the Markandeya Purana, Sri Goswami Ji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and being unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose, Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 41, that all extraordinarily powerful beings are but parts and parcels of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna. Except for the Lord Himself, everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, or any other powerful god can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize this transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree and other living entities who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. We all know a very famous American businessman, co-founder and CEO of the Apple company, Mr. Steve Jobs. He was a successful person materially, and at the age of 56, unfortunately, he passed away because of pancreatic cancer. And when he was in the hospital bed, he had a few realizations, and these were his last few words. He said, "I reached the peak of success in the business world. My life is the epitome of success in the opinion of others. But I have nothing to be happy about except work. In the end, wealth is just a reality of life that I am used to. It was then, lying on a sick bed, reminiscing my whole life, I realized all the recognition and the wealth that I was very proud of became pale and meaningless in the face of the impending death. You can hire someone to drive for you and make money for you, but you can't make someone else take the illness from you. Lost substance can be found, but there is one thing that can never be found when lost: life." So these were the words of Steve Jobs towards the end of his life. From this we understand a person may be materially very successful, enjoying a wealthy life, all kinds of riches, surrounded by well-wishers, relatives. A person can attain pinnacle of success in material calculation, but if one does not understand what is the purpose of human life, if one does not understand this, then it is simply a wasted lifetime. Such a wonderful opportunity Krishna has given us, the human form of life. But if we do not think about the actual purpose of life and simply keep ourselves busy in pursuing material goals, then the Bhagavatam is also saying that it is simply a waste of time. So today's verse that was spoken by Srila Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit is very, very instructive. In this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is stressing upon not only the purpose of life, but he is stressing upon the quality of life. It's not the quantity of life that matters. How long we are going to live, that's not the important thing. But how are we going to live our life? That is so important. Kim pramattasya bahubihi parokshair hayanair iha. Hayanaihi means years. Iha, in this world. Bahubihi, we may live for a long period of time, many years. Kim, what is the use? If you are leading a life with pramattasya, pramattasya means in a bewildered condition, without knowing what is the purpose of life. Varam muhurtam. On the contrary, Shukadev Goswami is saying, Varam means best, better. But Varam muhurtam viditam. Viditam means conscious. Muhurtam means a short period of time. Varam muhurtam viditam ghatate shreyase yataha. Shreyasaha means to know the matter of the supreme interest, the actual purpose of our life. Knowing this, leading a conscious life, trying to attain the ultimate purpose of human life. Even for a moment, if you lead such a conscious life, Shukadev Goswami is saying, that moment of life which you are leading, conscious about your supreme interest, that is far greater than leading a long duration of life in a bewildered condition without knowing the purpose of life. So therefore, what is this purpose of life that Shukadev Goswami is talking about, that we should all be conscious about? In fact, this is very nicely explained in the Vedanta Sutras. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Athataha means now that you have come to the human form of life, you were in many other species of life where you could not think beyond eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Now you have come to human life. Now what you should do? Brahma Jignasa. Jignasa means you should inquire about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth. And Srimad Bhagavatam in the very first canto, second chapter also highlights this point. Jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yascheha karma bihi. Jivasya, the purpose of jiva, of every living entity, human life especially, is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's activities. This is what Bhagavatam is telling us. What should be the goal of all our works, all our actions? Tattva Jignasa. Inquiry about the absolute truth. In fact, Srila Prabhupada also said, what does it profit a man who gains the whole world but suffers the loss of his own soul? What is the use? Just like we heard from Steve Jobs, he has practically conquered the business world. He has gained the whole world. But at the end of his life, he's feeling lacuna. He's feeling that emptiness. And he has realized that all this name, fame, money, I feel it is meaningless in front of death, as I'm facing death. So we should not actually come to this sorry phase at the end of our life. We should not feel sorry. We should not regret. That is why Bhagavatam is educating us what you should be actually doing in this human life. We should be interested in Tattva Jignasa, inquiry about who am I, inquiry about the supreme cause of all causes, and what is my relationship with that supreme Lord. In the Katha Upanishad, in this connection, there is one interesting story. The story of a young boy called Nachiketa. Nachiketa was a small boy, probably 5 or 6 years old boy. And his father was a great Rishi, and he was performing some yajnas. And it is recommended in the scriptures, when you perform yajnas, you have to give charity. Because the purpose of yajna is to develop a sense of detachment. And when you are giving charity, it's not that you will give something which is useless. You have to give something which is useful to others, so that they can be benefited from the item that you are giving. But this Nachiketa's father, he was actually selecting carefully those items which were of no use, and he was giving them in charity. He thought, in this way, let me earn some punya. Some people think like that. Oh, it is not useful for me. It is lying in my house for a long time. Okay, let me go and give to this Prabhuji. Let me go and give to temple. At least I do some bhakti like that. No, that's not the way to give charity. Something which is useful, something which is in good working condition, you should give. But this Nachiketa's father was selecting all the barren cows and weak bulls and cows. He used to give that in charity. This was observed by Nachiketa. And he came and told his father, "What are you doing, father? Why are you giving the sick and old and barren cows? What will those brahmanas benefit from these cows?" Every now and then he used to come and tell his father, but his father was becoming angry each time. So then one time this Nachiketa came again and said, "Father, what are you doing? Don't give this in charity." "Okay, you give me also in charity, no, to somebody?" Nachiketa asked his father. And his father said, "Yes, I give you in charity to Yamadeva. You go." That means he became so angry, frustrated. "You go to Yamaloka." Like that. And the story in the Katha Upanishad continues. This boy Nachiketa travels to Yamaloka. And there he is encountered by the Yamadutas as soon as he enters the abode of Yamaraj. And he says, "I want to meet Yamaraja. I want to ask some questions to Yamaraja." So he says, he gets the reply saying that Yamaraja has gone out for some tour. He's not there. You please wait. So 3 days he waits, and after the third day, Yamaraja returns back. And then Nachiketa offers obeisances to Yamaraja, and he says, Yamaraja is very pleased. 3 days you have waited for me. And also he is surprised that you have come with your mortal body to Yamaloka. You are not an ordinary person. And you waited for 3 days. I am very pleased with you. I will give you 3 boons. Tell me what you want. So the first boon, Nachiketa asked, "See, my father has a very bad temper. Please bless my father that he becomes free from anger and he attains peace of mind." That's the first boon. Yamaraja says, "Granted." Then he asks, "Tell me, what is the second boon you want?" He says, "Lot of people, including my father on the earth, they are performing yajnas. I want to know what is yajna and what is the purpose of performing this yajna. Can you please explain the secret behind this?" So Yamaraja is very happy and he instructs about what is yajna, what is its purpose, what actually has to be performed in yajna and all of that. He explains yajna means pleasing the Supreme Lord. And then he asks, "Tell me now, what do you want for the third boon?" Nachiketa says, "I want Atma Vidya. I want spiritual knowledge. I want to know what happens to the soul after death. I want the knowledge of Brahman and liberation. Please instruct me." So Yamaraja, he thinks that this is a very difficult subject matter. You are just a small boy. And even great rishis, great devatas fail to understand this spiritual knowledge. So I cannot give you. Instead of this, you ask me anything else. I can give you a long duration of life. I can give you wealth and prosperity, all worldly pleasures. All of this I can give you. Instead of this boon, you ask me something else. So Nachiketa says, no, I don't want any of those things. I want Atma Vidya. So he's very determined. In spite of so many allurements that Yamaraja proposed, Nachiketa was determined. I want only spiritual knowledge. Please tell me. So seeing his determination, finally, Yamaraja himself instructed Atma Vidya, the knowledge pertaining to the soul, to Brahman, to liberation, to Nachiketa. And this is the subject matter of the entire Katha Upanishad. So you can see from the story of Nachiketa that actually human life is not meant for, if we are really intelligent, we will not choose temporary pleasures. Temporary pleasures we have enjoyed in many, many lifetimes. And what is the use? We are still stuck in this material world, in the cycle of birth and death. We are still stuck here. So if you continue to do what you have been doing, you will continue to get what you have been getting. Srila Prabhupada says, in this human life, now you should do something different. You should not do the same old stuff which you have been doing from many, many lifetimes. Prahlad Maharaj gives an analogy to this. In the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, he says, Punah punas charvita charvananam. Continuously chewing the chewed. Same thing you are continuously chewing. You are expecting some new juice will come, some new pleasure will come. But no, it is the same old thing. So therefore, we must utilize this human form of life for self-realization. And that is what Lord Rishabhadeva also instructs in the Bhagavatam 5th canto, 5th chapter. Lord Rishabhadeva, an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he instructs his 100 sons in this way. Parabhavastavad abodha jato yavanna jignyasata atma tattvam. What is the meaning of this? Rishabhadeva says, Prabhupada explains, as long as one is blind to inquiring after self-realization, all material activities, however great they may be, are all different kinds of defeat, because the aim of human life is not fulfilled by such unwanted and profitless activities. Parabhava means defeat. As long as we don't inquire about Atma Tattva, about our actual purpose of life, then however great activities you may be performing, Rishabhadeva is saying, it is all parabhava. It is simply defeat. Right? And then Srila Prabhupada continues to explain, the function of human body is to attain freedom from material bondage. But as long as one is fully absorbed in material activities, his mind will be overwhelmed in the whirlpool of matter, and thus he will continue to be engaged in material bodies life after life. So if you don't inquire about the absolute truth, then what happens? Default setting is there. What is the default setting? We have got conditioned from many, many lifetimes. Same old thing. Eat, drink and be merry kind of life, as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. Same old stuff we will continue to do again and again. We will become more and more materially implicated. And the result is, we continue our cycle of birth and death and remain in this miserable material world. One of the great acharyas in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he says in one of his kirtans, Dhana yauvana jivana rajya sukham nahi nityam anukshana nasha param tyaja gramya katha sakalam viphalam bhaja godruma kanana kunja vidhum ramani jana sanga sukham cha sakhe charame bhayadam purushartha haram harinama sudharasa matta matir bhaja godruma kanana kunja vidhum. Very beautiful song. Bhaktivedanta Thakur writes, he says, Dhana, Yavana, Dhana means wealth, Yavana means what? Youthful life. Rajya Sukham, happiness of worldly gains, prosperity. Nahi Nityam, it is not eternal, it is not going to be there forever. Anukshana Nasha Param, any moment, they can all be taken away from you. Any moment, we can be separated from our wealth. Any moment, we may face the last moment of our life. So, Nityam, Nahi Nityam, Anukshana Nasha Param. Any moment it can be destroyed, all of these things. Therefore, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is instructing, Tyaja gramya katha. Tyaja means give up. What you should give up? Gramya katha. Katha pertaining to material topics. Katha pertaining to sense enjoyment. We should tyaja, we should give up. Sakalam viphalam. All these are useless topics. Don't talk about these things. Then what should you do? Bhaja godruma kanana kunja vidhum. You should worship Lord Chaitanya, who is like the moon in the Godruma forest. You should worship Lord Chaitanya. And further, Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Ramani jana sanga sukham cha sakhe. Sakhe, oh sakha, oh friend. Like a friend, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is instructing all of us. Ramani jana sanga sukham. Everybody thinks that, okay, I don't want the whole world. I don't want to be the king. I don't want big things. But at least within my family, I will enjoy nicely the company of my wife, my husband, my children. I will enjoy this. Ramani jana sanga sukham. Then he says, Charame bhayadam. At the end of one's life, this kind of material sense gratification only fills our heart with fear. Charame, at the end, bhayadam purushartha haram. It also takes away the very purpose of our existence. Therefore, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is giving an alternate. What you should actually do instead of engaging in material pursuits. Harinama sudha rasa matta mater. Become intoxicated with the nectar of the holy name of Lord Krishna. You want to be intoxicated with something, no? You want to be intoxicated with material pleasures, but that is going to be charame bhayadam. It is only going to fill you with more and more anxiety and miseries. Instead of that, become intoxicated in chanting the holy names of the Lord. This will help you to attain the perfection of your life. So that is what Srila Prabhupada also writes in today's purport, that we should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. Our purpose is what? Why have we got this human life? To attain spiritual success. To attain freedom from the repetition of birth and death. That is the purpose of human life. And what is the process to attain this? Prabhupada writes, and the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. We have to chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the most simplest, easiest process. Simply by chanting, one can attain the highest perfection of life. In fact, this is the recommendation of the great scriptures, including Bhagavatam. It is the recommendation of great acharyas. One of the great devotees in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, King Kulashekara, Maharaj Kulashekara, in his Mukunda Mala Stotra, verse 31, he says beautifully, Shatru Chedaika Mantram Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram Samsaro Cheda Mantram Samuchita Tamasa Sangha Niryana Mantram Sarvaishwaryaika Mantram Vyasana Bhujaga Sandashta Santrana Mantram Jihve Shri Krishna Mantram Japa Japa Satatam Janma Saphalya Mantram. So, what is Kulashekara Alvar saying? He's saying, O tongue, Jihve, O tongue, you're always talking so many topics, Gramya Katha, you're taking pleasure in discussing all such material topics, you give up all that. O tongue, O Jihva, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. Sri Krishna Mantram. Jihve Japa Japa Satatam. Why? Why you should chant? He gives a number of reasons. Why you should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? He gives a number of reasons. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. Sarva Shatru Chedaika Mantram. This mantra can destroy all your enemies. So who are our enemies? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Where are they sitting? Within us, in our mind, they are all sitting. And they are pushing us into material pursuits. They are stopping us from attaining the actual perfection of life. But when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, what happens? Shatru Chedaika Mantram. All these enemies will be destroyed. And then what is the next reason you should chant Hare Krishna mantra? He says, the mantra is worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. This mantra is not ordinary mantra. Even the Upanishads, the Vedic scriptures, they worship this mantra. So it's not ordinary. And then this mantra, the third reason why you should chant, this mantra uproots samsara. Samsara means the cycle of birth and death. It uproots, it destroys the samsara chakra. And then this mantra drives away all darkness of ignorance. The ignorance we are situated in. Ajnana timirandhasya. We are all born in ignorance. This ignorance will be destroyed by the holy name of the Lord. And then this mantra helps us attain infinite opulence. We all want opulence. So why are you going for 1 paisa, 2 paisa happiness? You can get happiness, you can get opulence of unlimited degree. Because when you chant Hare Krishna mantra, you can attain Krishna himself. And Krishna is the source of all opulence. As Prabhupada writes in the purport, a very interesting point he writes. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. That means the holy name of the Lord is the most powerful. In fact, it is offensive to compare the holy name of the Lord with the names of any devatas. This is one of the 10 offenses mentioned in the Padma Purana. We chant every day in the morning, during the morning program. So one should not think that the holy name of the Lord is equal to any names of even the great devatas, like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. And Prabhupada further writes, by chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Because Krishna is the source of all energies. He has invested all of his energies in his holy names. And when you chant with attention and devotion, you can actually derive the stipulated energy from all synchronized sources. And that is why Kulashekar Maharaj is saying here, this mantra helps you attain the highest opulence. And then what happens next when you chant? The mantra cures those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress. We are all bitten by a snake constantly. What is that? Distress, miseries, dukkhalayam. This place is a place of miseries. Krishna himself is saying this in the Bhagavad Gita. So every moment there is one or the other dukkha which is perturbing us, disturbing us. But when you chant Hare Krishna mantra, you can actually become free from this snake bite of material distress. And finally he says, Janma Saphalya Mantram. This mantra makes one's birth in this world successful. So how many of us want to attain success in our life? Is there anybody who does not want to attain success? Nobody. All of us want to attain success. And here the recommendation of the great acharyas is simply you chant the holy names of the Lord. In fact, many times we think when we come across difficult situations in our life, we say, oh, this is the worst calamity that has happened in my life. Right? But actually, what is the worst calamity in one's life? Or sometimes somebody may win a bumper lottery of 1 crore rupees. And he will be thinking, oh, this is the best thing that has happened in my life. Right? But actually, the Mahabharata says, no, these are not the real prosperity or the real calamities. So Mahabharata says, Vipado naiva vipadaha, sampadaha naiva sampadaha, vipad vismaranam vishnoho, sampan narayana smritihi. So what is the meaning of this? Vipado naiva vipadaha. The so-called calamity that you are talking about, that's not real calamity. And the so-called bumper lottery prosperity, that's not real prosperity. Vipado naiva vipadaha, sampado naiva sampadaha. Then what is real vipat? Vipad vismaranam vishnoho. If you forget Lord Vishnu, that is the greatest vipada. That is the greatest calamity. And what is real sampat? Sampan narayano smritihi. Remembering the Supreme Lord Narayana is the real sampat. So now we can all think, are we having the real sampat with us? Are we having or not? But are we utilizing it? Or some part of the time when we are chanting, we remember Krishna. And after that, we have forgotten. Krishna is out of sight, out of mind. Forgotten. No. So therefore, we must constantly remember Krishna. That is very, very important. So how do we remember Krishna? How do we remember Krishna constantly? The Bhagavatam says, when you hear Bhagavatam, your polluted aim of life will get purified. Why do we forget Krishna at times? Because we think something else is more important in life. Krishna's remembrance is not important. Maybe when I go to temple, I'll remember Krishna. That's okay. It's a side business. Krishna consciousness is a side business. Sunday morning when I come to temple, that time I will remember, oh, there is Krishna. And during the rest of the time, I am fully forgotten Krishna. So, Krishna consciousness is not a side business in our life. Krishna consciousness is the only business in our life. This we have to understand. So, Bhagavatam says, Punanti te vishaya vidushita ashayam. Ashayam means the goal of life. Vishaya vidushita ashayam. Our goal of life has now got polluted. We have lost direction. We don't know. Because we are thinking sense gratification is the paramount purpose of life. But if you hear Bhagavatam, the nectarian topics connected with Lord Krishna, from the lips of a Mahabhagavata, Srila Prabhupada, when you hear Bhagavatam from Bhagavata, then what happens? The polluted aim of our life gets purified. We get reoriented back towards the actual purpose of life. And that is why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day we have to hear Bhagavatam. It's not that, okay, once in a week I'm coming to temple, other days I'm not coming. So what will happen? No, Prabhupada's Vani is available for each one of us. Correct? We can read Srila Prabhupada's books. We can hear his recorded lectures. And in this way, we can keep in touch with pure devotee. And these words of pure devotee, when we hear attentively, it will purify our polluted aim of life. So that is what Bhagavatam says. So, another interesting line from Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur in one of his Kirtans, Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Brahma janme nahi mora asha, kita janma hoy jate tuva dasa. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, I don't care to be born as Brahma. You know, Brahma has a very long duration of life. Right? He lives for 100 kalpas. One kalpa is how much? 1000 Mahayugas. Correct? 1000 Mahayugas is one kalpa. And Brahma lives for 100 such kalpas, a very long duration of life. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I don't want to be born as Brahma, but better let me become an insect where your devotee is there. Wherever your devotee is living, in his house, let me become an insect. Why? Because the devotee association I will get. Devotee keeps chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Devotee keeps talking about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Devotee prepares prasadam, Krishna prasadam. So somehow, even if I am born as a kita, as an insect in a devotee's life, in a devotee's house, I consider that greater than being born as Brahma. So therefore, we should know the importance of association with devotees. You know, right now, Srila Prabhupada book marathon is going on, isn't it? So it's very important for all of us to go out. Not that we only read Prabhupada books and keep quiet. We should actually go out and spread this message. Distribute these books to more and more people. Why we should do this? You know, Lord Krishna himself tells this in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. He says, Yetavat janma saphalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranair arthai dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. What is Lord Krishna saying? If you want to attain janma saphalyam, you want to attain success of your life, what you should do? It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others. We should perform welfare activities for others. Now, what is the highest welfare activity? Now, many people think that, okay, if I construct public toilets, that's a welfare activity. If I do some charitable work, that's a welfare activity. No doubt that's a welfare activity. But what is the highest welfare activity? To spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Because so many people are still in ignorance, they don't know what is the goal of life. And Prabhupada has explained in his books what is the goal of life and how to attain it. And what we should do is we should act like a postman from Prabhupada. We are reaching out this letter to those people who have forgotten the goal of life, whose aim of life has become polluted. And when we do this, what happens? We get the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. Isn't it? So, Lord Krishna is saying, it is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. Right? All these four can be employed in book distribution. Life means we are giving our valuable time, go out to meet people, distribute. With our wealth, we have to travel to some place. So some money is invested for that. We are using it in Krishna's service. Then intelligence, we have to think to what kind of people, what I should speak. How do I convince this person to take a copy of Bhagavad Gita? We should think, tax your brain. So you are using your intelligence. And then words. We are using our words. We are requesting, please take this Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you take this and read? We are requesting. So using our words. So pranair arthai dhiya vacha. All these four we can employ in Krishna's service through this amazing service called book distribution. And Srila Prabhupada has many times stressed that if you distribute my books, I will be very pleased with you. So it's a wonderful golden opportunity for us to go out, distribute books, and please Srila Prabhupada. So, what is the power of Srila Prabhupada's association? There is one interesting pastime. Once, Srila Prabhupada was addressing a group of scholars. They were all Vedantists, and mostly they were all impersonalists with Mayavada contamination. And Srila Prabhupada was quoting from the scriptures, and he was saying, from various scriptures, Prabhupada was saying, the goal of life is to attain spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, that can be easily attained in this human life by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada spoke for just 15-20 minutes. Now they were all scholars, they had already studied Vedas, scriptures, Upanishads. But those 15 minutes of association with Srila Prabhupada transformed them so much. So Prabhupada spoke for 20 minutes and after that, there was a silence. Don't know what they understood. Sometimes when there is silence, we don't know whether they understood or not understood. So they were all, and in that silent situation, one of the scholars raised his hand. So Prabhupada thought maybe he has some question. And yes, Prabhupada said yes. And that scholar said, can we do Sankirtan now? He said. So that means they were like dry philosophers, speculators, Mayavadis. But those few minutes of association with Srila Prabhupada created such an impression in their mind, in their consciousness. They said, shall we do Sankirtan now? Shall we all together chant and sing? So this is the power of association with Srila Prabhupada. And imagine when we reach out Srila Prabhupada's books to the people, what kind of an impact that can create in their minds. So if we want the whole world to actually become peaceful, become sane, we should actually go out and distribute books. Another occasion, a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, seeing that Prabhupada has written so many books, a reporter asked, how do you write these books? He was surprised. One person, old man, 70 volumes of books written and published and distributed. He was surprised. How do you write these books? And Srila Prabhupada replied, Krishna speaks to me. Krishna has written these books, Prabhupada said. And that reporter was little taken aback, puzzled. And one of the devotees was there. So he didn't understand what Prabhupada said. Therefore, the devotee, the disciple interpreted. Srila Prabhupada prays to Krishna and Krishna gives him intelligence and he writes. And Srila Prabhupada turned around and said, who is that? I am saying Krishna is writing these books. Who are you to give interpretation? Prabhupada said. Krishna is writing these books. So when you are reading Srila Prabhupada's books, it is Krishna's books. Prabhupada said, Krishna has written these books, not ordinary. You know, there are many big books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, many, sets, many cantos, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when people see big books, they get heart attack. Can I really read such a big book? Even in my college, I did not study all the books. Somehow one day before the exam, I just skimmed through all the things and I just passed. And you're asking me to read such a big book. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada also has published many small books, that people can easily relate with. So Coming Back is one such book. There are many small books, Beyond Birth and Death, Rajavidya, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, Ishopanishad, small books. People won't get any heart attack by seeing these books. So there was one devotee who was distributing this Coming Back book in a train. Devotees utilize all opportunities. He was traveling in a train and he approached the passengers. Why don't you take this book? The Signs of Reincarnation, Coming Back. So the traveler, he heard whatever devotee said. And the traveler said, so you believe in reincarnation? The traveler said. And the devotee replied, yes. It is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is the book explains. So I'll do one thing, Prabhu. I will take your book now. In the next life, I will make the payment. Look like a very intelligent. Sometimes we get tough people also like this when we do book distribution. So the devotee, what he said? See, you are not at all Krishna conscious. Yes, next life you will be born. But what if you are born as some animal, a cat or a dog? How will I come and collect the money from you? So therefore, now only you pay and take this book, so that next life, at least you will get human life. So then the devotee was, the passenger was convinced, and he took the book and he read that and became a devotee. There's another interesting incident. This happened in the Boston temple in the US. There was a brahmachari in the ashram, in the temple. Somehow he was very unhappy. He had decided that I will leave temple and go. Why? What was the reason? Every day the temple commander, senior devotee, would come and wake him up in a very violent way for Mangalarati. And he was, every day it is happening like this. He said, enough now, I will leave temple and go. So he thought, before leaving, he packed everything, all his luggage, everything. He said, let me take bath and then leave. And while he was taking bath, he played Prabhupada lecture. And that lecture was about Kunti Maharani's prayers. You know, all the lectures of Srila Prabhupada about Kunti Maharani's prayers have been compiled into a book called Teachings of Queen Kunti, a very wonderful book. So this devotee was hearing those lectures, one of those lectures. And in that lecture, Prabhupada was saying, when one becomes serious in Krishna consciousness, Maya also becomes serious. Maya is Krishna's servant. She doesn't want anyone who is not serious in Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna. When devotee heard this, that means Maya has become serious now. So when the devotee heard these words of Srila Prabhupada, that brahmachari started thinking, I am becoming disturbed unnecessarily. If I am really serious, I should not get disturbed. So he thought like this, and he came back from his shower, unpacked his luggage, and stayed back and served the Lord to the rest of his life. That means few words of Srila Prabhupada can actually bring in immediate effect in the listener, isn't it? Many times we are also disturbed, demotivated. Oh, chanting is going on mechanically. What you should do, just open Srila Prabhupada's books and read a few lines. Immediately you come back to track. You hear Prabhupada's lectures. Even one word can actually bring in tremendous improvement in our consciousness. Instantly. There was one devotee. Initially he was actually a thief. And some devotees met him on the street and gave him a book of Srila Prabhupada. So he read that book, became convinced, and he became a devotee. And after a few years, it was his turn to go out and do book distribution. Right? So he was trying to do book distribution along with other devotees. So he had the past experience, you know. Just by seeing the house, he would make out what will be the economic condition of that house. Whether this person is wealthy or not. He used to plan like that before, to go and steal. Now he is using his past knowledge. By seeing the house, he would tell the devotees, this house looks simple, let us only propose Bhagavad Gita. Now this house, another house is looking very gorgeous, big, wealthy man he must be. Let us propose Bhagavatam set. That means how every intelligence, every tactic that we generally use for our material sense enjoyment can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. That is one example, especially in this book distribution. One last pastime I will share before we end the session. Once there was a doctors' conference. You know, all the doctors had gathered in one place. They had a conference, a kind of meeting. And a young devotee, he had set up book distribution table just outside the conference. So that all the doctors will come, maybe lunchtime or tea break or something, and we can talk about these books. That was his idea. So devotees have different plans, right, to distribute books. Wherever there is a conference, a big festival or a fair, devotees go there and put up book distribution tables and distribute books. So one of the doctors came out, probably in the lunch time or something, and he saw the entire books, colorful books of Srila Prabhupada. So the doctor asked this young devotee, who are these books meant for? For whom have you brought these books? We are talking about technical stuff, about the human body, diseases, pathology, histology. We are talking about that. And what have you brought these spiritual books here? For whom have you brought these books? So the devotee, with full faith and conviction, he replied, these books are for you only, doctor. I have brought for you only. So the doctor was surprised. Oh, for me? Why? Why have you brought these books for us? We are doctors. And the devotee replied, because you don't know what is the goal of life. And these books will teach you what is the goal of life. Look at the courage of that devotee. So the doctor was impressed with this kind of a courageous answer. Full conviction, faith he has. So he immediately asked, what is your age? You know, the doctor must be some 60 years or 60 plus. And this person, young boy, he's speaking like this, you don't know the goal of life. So he asked, what is your age? And the devotee said, whose age are you asking? Body's age or soul's age? See, devotees don't give direct answer to any question. Isn't it? One line answer you don't have from a devotee. So he asked, whose age are you asking? Body's age or soul's age? The doctor was even more confused. He said, okay, tell me both ages. Both you tell me. So the devotee replied, my body is only 22 years old, but my soul is eternal, he said. And when he heard this question, the doctor thought for a while. He thought, at such a young age, this devotee has got so much realization. So he was impressed and he said, give me all the books, one set. So he purchased those books and eventually he became devotee, started chanting 16 rounds every day, and whomever he would meet, his patients, he would prescribe them along with the medicine, the Hare Krishna mantra also. So therefore, it is a wonderful opportunity for all of us during this book marathon. Read, relish Srila Prabhupada's books and also go out, distribute these books. And in this way, we become an instrument in reaching. As I said, we are like delivery persons, postman. Just reach out Srila Prabhupada's books. We don't know, one sentence somebody reads, it can bring about a revolution in their consciousness. It can change their destiny. They can become free from the cycle of birth and death. And we all have the glorious opportunity to become instruments in reaching this transformational message to people. So let us all nicely distribute Srila Prabhupada books and please our beloved glorious spiritual master Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.